It was a frosty January morning in 2012 when a woman was flipping through channels on the TV. It was then that she stopped and she saw a news story that would change her life and the lives of 4 others forever. For the first time since, my siblings and I took a trip down memory lane as we watched the clip that changed our lives and looked back on our adoption journey. Can y'all see? Yeah, someone take this and you can play it.
I'm gonna cry.
I don't cry.
When we first met these 3 siblings, it was just as it should be.
I got it.
All play,
We do not need a lizard. Why'd you get a lizard?
all fun, all together. There was no stopping 6-year-old Abby, 5-year-old Colton, and their 4-year-old baby sister, Clara.
Watch out for a needle.
When we did pause to sit down for an interview, all they wanted to do was this.
They are something else. They're 3 beautiful kids. They've had a rough start.
A rough start, says DHS adoption specialist Erica Bird, yet deeply bonded with one another. They've been shuffled in and out of foster homes for the past 3 years, in state custody now because of their parents' neglect.
They are strong-willed. They love each other and need to be together.
Together to start over with a new family.
If we had a new family, then I'll hug the new dad. If I have a dog, then I'm gonna hug the dog.
It's very tough because they deserve to be in a home that is going to love them and care for them the way they need to be. And they need to be in a permanent home to know that they're not ever going to have to move again and that they're going to be able to stay there forever.
Oh my God.
Ta-da! We have been looking for that clip for 12 years.
I have been looking for that for so long. Oh my God.
You don't have no idea how many days all 5 of us have sat at the kitchen table on laptop searching up Clara Colton Abby, A Place to Call Home 2011, trying to find it.
I did get to hug the dog.
You did.
Yeah.
We got to hug the parents and the dog.
Brittany, you were and still are the oldest, obviously. So, like, what was some of the stuff that you remember from being in foster care? Not the foster care home, like not at Southern Christian, but like
Just the homes.
bouncing around from the homes, yeah.
I remember being scared a lot because a lot of the homes we were separated a lot. So I remember just feeling scared for y'all, but also for me because I got anxious not being with y'all. So I know like that'd create problems growing up. Like now, for example, I do still have anxiety, like not being with y'all from like long periods of times. But also like when we were together, I felt joy because, you know, that was my siblings. Like I got to spend time with y'all. But I also was like upset, you know, like at a young age you get taken from someone and you're like, what's going on? Like you don't know. But when you're older, you kind of understand more. But you feel a lot of different things.
First of all, being the only boy, is there like stuff that happened to you in homes that you know for sure wouldn't have happened to us?
There were a lot less people in the homes I was put in. I will say that. The boys that were there, they were also a lot more annoying than I think the people you guys were put with, because it's just a bunch of boys that are being boys, and it's pretty crazy sometimes. But there'd also be a few nights where you're sitting there awake trying to figure out what's happening or what's going to happen. And then being the only brother that you guys have, I was worried about you guys a lot. But I also tried to think of fun things that we did get to do together, like when we were together, being at the park or having time together was probably what kept me going sometimes. There were ups and downs in it.
So I don't know if you guys are gonna remember a lot, because I mean I'm the youngest, so I don't remember a lot of it. But like, do you guys remember like meeting mom and dad for the first time? Like, what was some of the stuff that was just like going through your mind? Like, did you know that they were there for you, or were you just like, oh, there's creepy people here?
At first, like when we saw them, they were strangers to us. But I remember like they still tell us the story when you had gone up to dad. And this is really like kind of emotional, but you went up to dad and like shook his hand or like just
Grabbed his hand.
Yeah, just like grabbed his hand. It's like, can I call you my daddy now? It was like so sweet, and he just like cried. I was like, that is so sweet. And like I remember we brought them flowers too the first time. Like they were there for us. And after, I always remember like every time we drive by the park, that was the first time we met them, and we sat and ate lunch with them. And we didn't even need like our foster parents there with us. Like we just completely trusted them, and like we kind of just knew almost like they were there for us. Like that's our parents right there.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember a whole lot about it. The one thing I do remember very vividly about meeting them for one of the first times was choking on a peppermint in the courtroom.
I remember that. That was scary for all of us.
And her laughing at me for a few minutes, and then like, "Are you okay?" as my face is blue and I'm sitting there choking.
I don't really remember meeting them in person for the first time, but I remember like the second time we got together, we went and we had Pizza Hut. And it was the Pizza Hut across from the Hardee's. And if you walk in the door, we sat in the front left booth. It was a corner booth. We got a large pepperoni pizza, and our caretakers at the time, they were sitting across the restaurant, and they were like, most kids come up to us, they're gonna be like, I have to go to the bathroom, I don't want to go with these people. But like y'all said, we didn't do that.
Yeah. I love that you remember that.
Every time we drive past that Pizza Hut, I'm like, large pepperoni, left corner booth. So we know that there's a lot, like, foster kids don't always have the best experience in foster care, because like you guys said, there were ups and there were downs. Like, what are some of the ups you remember? Like, for me, it was this one foster parent's house. Every Saturday, he'd take us out to his huge shop and he'd blow up bouncy houses. And I remember we did a lot of horseback riding together. There's still a picture of you on the wall.
Hugging a horse's butt.
Yep.
And we've been trying to figure out how to get that picture.
So what are like some of the ups that you guys remember?
I remember one of the first foster homes I was put in. The parents, they had a son who was about 16, and he was able to pick me up with one hand and like throw me across the room. He wouldn't do it to hurt me. He'd throw me like on the bed, and I'd jump up and start screaming, do it again, do it again. It was a lot of fun. I think that's probably one of the best experiences I had.
What about you?
I remember like when me and you were placed in the same homes for the most part, except for when we were all separated. So I think more of the ups are like when we got to spend time together, or like when we all got together and like spend times. Because I know they had to schedule times for all of us to be together, which was hard because you not always got to see them. But all like the little play dates we had, that was all so fun. So those were more the ups, like getting to spend time with you.
I remember, I think this was at the last home that all three of us were at together right before Mom and Dad got us, but you walked down the hallway past me and Brittany's room, and there was this room full of bunk beds and older girls. Like, they were about to age out of the system. There was this one girl, her name was Abby. I remember her so vividly. She was so sweet. Every day when we cry, she would say, it's okay, it's okay. There's people out there that love you. They're gonna come get you and take you home. Do you remember Abby?
I do, because I remember after we got adopted, we would go and see her. I think it was her.
Sonic.
At Sonic, yeah.
The kid I was talking about a minute ago, the 16-year-old, his name was, I think it was Jacob, but the first time we went out to Colorado for vacation, I ended up running into him, and he recognized me before I recognized him. I don't know how old he was whenever we ran into him, or whenever I ran into him out there, but I do know that I remember talking to him and saying that he ended up adopting somebody out of the foster care system, and it was just a good feeling to know that somebody that had gone through that knows what it's like and is trying to give people better lives.
So I know whenever we met Mom and Dad, and it was after court day, everything was going good, we were finally part of the family, and we met everyone else and we all just clicked. And that was the easy part, but it didn't seem really to click at school, and it still doesn't seem to click 100%. Like, what are some of the things that you guys have to go through being adopted? Like, I know there's kids that like make fun of our ethnicity, and then they're also like, wow, your parents didn't even want you. So like,
the whole your parents didn't want you, and I'm like, I typically respond to, but my current parents chose me, and yours are just kind of stuck with you. And I always turn it into something I can laugh at and at their expense, which isn't good, but it's funny sometimes.
When they like make fun of my ethnicity, and like I kind of joke at it because like some girls, I'm naturally tan, like me and you, all of us are, and some girls just go out and get spray tans. I'm like, I'm born with this, you go pay for it, you know? And I just kind of laugh at it.
I remember kindergarten, I got made fun of a lot. It wasn't just Erica. It was because we had gone through that period of time before we were put in the foster care system that we were malnourished. Like, we were fed sugar water every day, and we were left unattended, sticking chihuahuas in the freezer, being left outside in the tornado.
That was before we were put into foster care.
I know, I remember that. And then we got put in foster care, and they had to feed us so much so that we would stay healthy. And I remember first day of kindergarten getting called so many names because of that. And even still to this day, we get made fun of because of the color of our skin. And people are like, wow, what are you, Asian? And it's like, buddy, you're on the wrong side of the world.
Wrong continent, wrong hemisphere.
Is there anything that you want to say to mom and dad? Like, just to thank you or anything?
Could I at least have my own bathroom next time? It's kind of crazy sometimes, but it's an experience.
Yeah, to mom and dad, I'm just so grateful because I know, like, if we would have a totally different life without them today. Don't want to cry.
It's okay.
Because I know the life we have today we're so grateful for. I know the life we had before wasn't so great. And I know a lot of things that y'all probably don't. But it's hard to go through what we went through, but it's so great to have parents who understand that, like mom and dad. And it's so great to have their support, and so amazing to have them around so they can show us love, support, and everything that we need in parents. And so I'm just glad that we got that from them, and they show us whatever we need.
They saved us. Oh my God. We were going through so much, and they saved us. Like, they didn't care what had happened in the past. They just came there like, you're my kid.
They really
You're
did.
coming home with me. You're coming home with me, they say. And even the people at Dad's work, we still know most of them by name, y'all know.
Yeah.
And I remember that huge party we had, and that woman got us this huge little, like, these things that go on the wall that had our names on them. And we only saw the blank side, and we were like, oh my God, it's a canvas. And she's like,
yeah.
no, it's not.
Like, I remember we were so excited by the little things because we didn't have very much. So, like, I think when they saw us get excited by the little things, like, they were excited too because we were only shown, like, the little things before they showed us, like, the big things.
Whenever they came to get us for the last time for us to officially move in, you guys were told to go get all of your stuff, and you came out with little tiny duffel bags, and I came out with several completely full large trash bags.
You took everything out
I
of the
grabbed
house.
all
You
the
took
soap, all the books, toothbrushes, all the toys, some clothes that didn't even fit me, that were like way too big and had other people's names in them. I tried to grab the sheets, and I ended up having to put a lot of it back, but I did get to keep all the things I really, really wanted.
I remember Dad said it was because, like you said, like, they said grab everything,
Yeah,
so I grabbed everything.
Grab everything. I just if it was bolted down, I couldn't get it.
I love that.
You know, there are still kids going through what we went through, and there will always be kids going through what we went through. Some have it worse, some have it better. Like, if you could say anything to those kids, what would you say? Like, I know I would definitely say it's okay.
Yeah.
There are people out there who are coming to get you, I promise.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but they're there. And they take a couple years, but they're there.
I think the biggest thing I would say is if you make friends in the process, more than likely you'll come across them later, either by chance or by you tracking them down just to figure out how their life is going. But even if you don't end up getting picked by a family, you could always figure out a way to help those that are still in the system. And just don't give up and keep your friends close.
I mean, I know it gets better before it gets worse, or it gets worse before it gets better.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but it does take time, but you have to be patient with it. I mean, I know we had to be really patient, but we finally got there, and we got what we needed, what we really needed. We got our parents, and I know a lot of kids have it worse than we do, but someone out there, they will get them.
like you guys said, we have ups and we have downs still. Like, there's days that we'll all 5 of us will sit in the living room having screaming matches until someone just gives in and cries. But then there's the days that we sit at home on a rainy day and we rent movies and we just hang out. And
when one person starts cackling, we're all laughing and struggling to breathe.
And it's another thing, because family isn't just like what you're born into or you're written into by court. It's the people around you. Like, we have friends here at school that are like family. Like, they spend so much time at our house and we spend so much time at theirs. So family is what and who you make it.
Right.
Yep.
Don't rush it. Love takes time. And when you find you're meant to be, you find you're meant to be.
Mm.